Thank you for your patience. I am attempting to do a little bit more than normal, but that's okay. Thank you for joining us for second day of UC GIS week. My name is Erin Mutch, and this is the industry/career panel. The objective and goal for today is for this session is to have an open discussion about careers and opportunities. We have two great presenters, Maya O'Brien from ESRI, and Rachel Rodriguez Marquez. Is it Marquez Rodriguez?
Whatever you call it.
Okay. Sorry, I'm looking at two different things with URISA and may I say the County of Los Angeles also. All right. And she's going to talk about professional development, training, opportunities, networking. And so I'm excited that they're both here, and I hope that you find that this will be a really informative session today. So I'm going to go ahead and start with Maya. She'll just give us.
Awesome. Thanks, Erin. Let me share my screen just to give a little intro about myself. Let's make sure I'm presenting. And I will hide this as well. Okay, awesome. Hi, everyone. My name is Maya O'Brien. I am a technical consultant at ESRI and a UCLA grad, so really excited to be part of this event today. Just really quick agenda intro. How did I get to ESRI? My job overview and a quick wrap up. So like I said, I'm a technical consultant. I've been at ESRI about 4 years. I'm in ESRI's professional services division, so more customer focused. And with customers, I deploy and configure web and mobile applications. And then I started as an intern in 2018. So for those that don't know, this is Los Angeles. And for geographic reference, ESRI is located in Redlands, so about straight east of LA, about 60 miles. So my journey to ESRI, I went to UCLA for my undergrad, where I majored in geography and environmental studies and minored in GIS. I had a few internships before I started at ESRI. I had an internship with a city GIS department where I got to work on a variety of projects that really gave me a good foundation of GIS skills. I did the NASA Develop internship at JPL. Not going to give too much information, but really interesting project with a really interesting group of people, really technical and really good learning experience. So if anyone has any questions, we can email about that. I did have the chance to co-author a paper in Peru on, doing some GIS and remote sensing. So that was a really interesting experience. And then I interned at ESRI. So it was a 10-week internship at the ESRI headquarters in Redlands. Part of the internship, we were assigned a mentor and a team. And my role specifically was testing geoprocessing tools in ArcGIS Pro. And so this internship was really fun because you kind of learn to communicate effectively both with the more technical folks like developers and then the less technical, typically like product managers. So really rewarding internship and just super fun overall. So a little bit about my current role. Like I said, I deploy and configure web and mobile applications. So kind of the name of the game for my role is implementation, configuration, and training. I work closely with ESRI customers, partners, and distributors to deploy applications and then take requirements from customers and configure apps as needed. And then typically train the customer after the fact so that they can then own the solution that we worked with them on. And a fun part of my job is I get to travel a lot, at least before COVID. It's starting to ramp up again, but getting to travel on site to customer locations, getting to go to conferences, things like that. So lots of fun, and it's very fast-paced in professional services. We're fueled by customer deadlines and customer requirements, and we're learning a lot on the job. So it's really fun as someone that came in as a recent grad and now has been here 4 years. I think I will skip my daily routine. I don't think it needs that much info, but you can see on the screen really quickly. And then just a little bit about ESRI and the team and the office culture. ESRI is super fast-paced and agile. We are intensely communicative. It's really nice being back in the office because it kind of brings back what we had before, where you just go to someone's office and you can ask anyone anything. And everyone, there's an open door policy, like I said in that third bullet. So anyone with ESRI, and I'm sure this is the same for Rachel and at URISA, but definitely feel free to reach out to us for any questions. And then the last kind of recommendations for recent grads or students is just to be passionate, show initiative, participate in the things. One, at work and in your internships, it's really, really fun to kind of be part of everything going on. But the last thing that I'll leave you with, just because I know a lot of students are on this call, ESRI does have an internship that the deadline is December 31st. So this is kind of the main career site. So if you go to student programs, you can see here there's a 12-week internship that the deadline's, like I said, at the end of the year, and then a 1-week assistantship. So helping with one of the kind of ESRI events. So I loved the internship. I think it was a really good learning opportunity. But yeah, wanted to throw that out there while I had you all. That's it for me. I can hand it back off to Erin or to Rachel.
Thank you. That's really interesting. So just to reiterate what you said, internships or applying for internships are December 31st. Any specific qualifications or areas, or is it just as far as what ESRI is looking for as far as
yeah, I definitely glossed over it. Yeah, ESRI, it's a 10 or 12-week internship, paid internship, and there are internship opportunities across the entire company. So it could be more technical, more computer science, GIS oriented, where you're developing software or creating tools using programming, or it could be kind of like core GIS, making maps, deploying applications, or then also on the other side of the spectrum, a little less technical, maybe being like a consultant that is aware of geography and GIS, but isn't doing the GIS day to day, or also just not GIS oriented at all. You could be in marketing or sales, things like that. So kind of the full gambit of opportunities at ESRI. So depending on what someone is interested in would be, we could talk about what skills they might want for a different type of specific role.
Great, and maybe we can discuss that after Rachel's presentation and kind of. I just wanted to specifically note that since it seems to be a great opportunity for students to either have an internship or even work at the ESRI conference this year. And so we're assuming that ESRI conference is still in San Diego and still in July,
yes,
right?
It is. Yep.
Great.
Awesome.
Okay, well, I'll go to Rachel now, and she'll go over her work at URISA and at LA County, and we'll go ahead and again, if you have any questions, feel free to put them in chat or hold them. We can have an open discussion. And we're really flexible here. So, all right, let me just stop my video and pass it off to Rachel. All right.
Yeah, don't mind me. I'm just fumbling with my slides here. So, hi, my name is Rachel Rodriguez Marquez. I do work for Los Angeles County, but sort of how I got my start is through URISA as a student. URISA is tagged as the GIS Professional Association. It used to stand for the Urban Regional Information System Association, but now URISA is a noun. It is URISA. We basically focus on several components such as education, community, partnership building, and advocacy. We are an international chapter of URISA International, There are state and local chapters as well as different subsets that you could get into. URISA supports not only the person of the GIS professional, so you as a student moving forward in your career, but even into your career. So, some programs that we sponsor is the URISA GIS Corps, which is a completely volunteer-based nonprofit that works on GIS projects for different hurricanes, emergency situations that are going on across the world. It's just a volunteer base. You could sign up. You don't need to be a URISA member. You just sign up, put your skills and expertise, and if you get chosen for a project, you could be working on either COVID response, hurricane recovery, disaster monitoring of volcanoes, that type of stuff. URISA also does manage the URISA Hall of Fame. As you get further into your career, you learn who you look up to, and those are some of the key people that we wanted to highlight and showcase that they've earned that distinction to be highly recognized in the field. We do also help support the GIS Certification Institute, which provides the GISP certification. URISA helps students and young professionals and even professionals maintain their certification by giving them avenues to volunteer, contribute to the profession, expand their knowledge base within GIS, and all that type of stuff, as well as URISA hosts a separate council called the Vanguard Cabinet. Now, this is of particular interest to students here because they are a young professional group, and young professionals in quotes, because it's anybody under 35 is able to join, because we do understand that there are a lot of students that, start off in one career, get out into the industry and learn that that's not really what they want to do and go back to GIS later on. So it is a 35 age cutoff, but it actually targets you as a professional and develops you. So it's a really targeted working group to help manage your professional aspect. So pre-COVID, very few people were doing remote meetings, how to coordinate a remote meeting, how to host a remote meeting, how to do, note taking and project planning, and, deal with a volunteer team of 10 people, all those skills that you don't necessarily get in class. The Vanguard Cabinet helps you develop that. That is a specific team within URISA. It is a selection based, and I want to say that right now, they opened the call for nominations for that in, was it September? So you still have a little bit of time, but you could take a look at their social media. They do really great things. And they also actually host their own mentorship program throughout the entire country. I'm one of the mentors this session, and I got paired up with somebody in Georgia, and we're having a blast just chit-chatting along. So those are some of the URISA programs. I wanted to particularly talk about California URISA. So for those who have been in GIS for a while, they know the name NorCal URISA, SoCal URISA, Central Cal URISA. Well, a few years ago, we decided to merge, to join forces and build a little bit stronger community within California as a whole to better serve our membership. And so that's our email down below. You could email us anything. And the reason why we sort of did this was because California was really disjointed. We're such a large state with such diverse geographic areas, and we wanted to really encompass everybody and build a better cohesion within the regions. So we sort of segregated off, and the only reason why we have these regions, as you could see to the right, we have the northern and central and southern region. And it's only for, I guess, let me go. I might have taken out that slide. So it's because we have 2 board member positions from each region. It's just to get some geographic diversity to make sure that one organization's not hoarding all the representation within the state. So everybody is able to join and, come and contribute. So for URISA, if you're a URISA International member, and you live in California, you automatically become a California URISA member. The membership price for a general person, like somebody already in the industry, is a little steep. It's nearly $200, but it does give you the benefit of not only having the California URISA membership events, but you are able to attend any and all other chapter events throughout the entire nation. So if URISA Texas is doing an event that you wanted to go to, you're able to. If you wanted to do a social in what is that? Like the Chicagoland area, you're able to attend those types of things. If you're traveling around, you have that option. As long as you keep aware and keep abreast using social media or the email list. Here you can see that the young professional membership, that's anybody under 35, is able to get $125 membership, as well as students. If you're an active student, membership's only $20. So compared to the other California GIS organization, which is the California Geographic Information Association, their student membership, I want to say, is $25 right now. So URISA, you not only have the California cohort of people that you can meet with, but it's also, you get the national and international. We do have a Friends of Cal URISA, which is a free option. It's sort of, just anybody that wants to keep aware of what we're doing and what we're having. You just get on our email list, ask to volunteer for a committee, and you're able to participate. No harm, no foul. It's just if we have any member-only events, we do charge a little bit just to recoup some of the back cost for those. So we have some upcoming events that we're hosting and sponsoring, such as the California GIS conference called Cal GIS. This year, it's going to be in Monterey, and the dates are March 13th through 15th. There's currently a call for presentations and workshops that close November 30th. And so you could email us about that or use the QR code. Something that's really interesting about this Cal GIS this year is that we're actually having targeted presentations. So we're going to be talking about the state of California's spatial data infrastructure. So the transportation network, the imagery for the entire state, the LiDAR derived products, all those core data sets that is of interest in the nation. We're talking about how California is implementing those and the different projects that are going around the state. So it should be really fun to be a part of. We're having the state GIO, Isaac Cabrera, come and talk. He's hopefully going to keynote for us. We'll see. But we definitely have him on board to at least attend and work with us on building these data infrastructures for California. We have a URISA membership meeting open to any of our members on December 12th. All our board members are going to be able to attend and discuss the progress of the organization, how you could reap better benefits, how you could volunteer. And all of our volunteer opportunities are open and never expire. So if you feel like you want to help contribute to marketing, or you want to learn how to do advocacy and learn about the different lawsuits that are going on in California about GIS at the moment, there are a few, you could go ahead and get involved in those sorts of discussions. As well as we are hopefully going to plan a happy hour throughout the state. We are targeting 5 different locations throughout California, all on the same day, all at the same time. So wherever you are in the state, we're hoping to, sort of reach you a little bit better. Now, this was what I was talking about, the board of directors. So this is our structure. We're 100% volunteer based and ran. Right now, I'm a Southern California board member. I have submitted my name to become president-elect next year, but we'll see what happens if the membership votes for me or not. Either way, I'm still going to stay involved and participate. So shout out there if you guys want to vote for me. Just kidding. And that is all. I know I ran by that fast. Hopefully you're all good. Stop sharing.
Vote for Rachel. All right. Well, yeah, Cal GIS and URISA does have a long history, and I do appreciate the energy and time to kind of I'll say rebuild it, but rebrand it or kind of get that outreach, because back in 2000, a long time ago, ESRI used to have regional user groups. So we would have small groups in small areas where I live, and ESRI reps would come out, and they were really great to exchange knowledge and ideas. And with the internet, we rely on that, but we are missing that personal, face to face, having that talk one-on-one with people, getting to know them. And so I think we were in the best of both worlds. So I wish you all the best in the endeavors and hope to attend Cal GIS in Monterey in March. Maybe I'll even present.
Yeah, you should. The call for presentations are open. If any of the students also want to present, we are going to have a poster sort of session and lightning talks. So if anybody has a project they're conceptualizing, since it's getting to the end of the year right now and final projects are getting due, it's always something to consider. Those are going to be opening up real soon. So keep an eye on the social medias.
And with both ESRI and URISA and other California organizations, I guess really URISA and CGIA and ESRI. CGIA is another group that's focused on policy. Where do you feel, or either of you feel, connected to maybe the students in these universities, and what do you think us in academia can improve to kind of bridge that outreach?
Well, I know Esri's been doing, I'm going to talk for Esri right now. Esri's been doing a real great job for the Young Professional Network. I'm spacing on what it's called right now.
I think it's still that.
Yeah. They just opened up a new registration link for that to be able to help better communicate with the universities and the students out there. With Cal URISA and URISA in general, we've really been lacking on the outreach portion, actually getting into the classrooms and talking with the students and really building that independent relationship, because academia is so different than the government realms. It's really a hard bridge to gap, especially with the volunteer organization. So if we had people that are students that are going through the programs willing to learn about Cal URISA and then bring it back to their students, that would be wonderful. We're trying to do a lot more outreach, a lot more integrations to help host, events like these, but it's getting to be a real challenge. And we want to build that relationship because eventually you guys are going to be our coworkers, looking down the line. You guys are going to be my boss one day and I'm going to be cool with it. So just building that relationship and getting you guys the knowledge that all you have to do is show up. And if you fail, you fail, and don't worry about it. You just show up the next day and keep on going. So that'd be my 2 cents.
Yeah, I'm not super familiar with the Young Professional Network myself at ESRI, but I guess from my own experience, I know ESRI, at least on our end, has been really supportive of folks that want to kind of do events like this outside of work or as part of our work. So I was a grad at UCLA, and UCLA has a geography board that has like industry professionals and alumni and faculty and staff come together, for the purpose of the geography department. So I've been doing events over there, and then now I'm on that board. So I guess I couldn't say specifically, what in like academia could be done for like outreach and what ESRI needs to do better for outreach. But I know having events like this where you're bringing students together and, industry professionals and also just other folks in academia together, I found to be really impactful, and it's really fun talking to the students and kind of just sharing where we're at. So more events like this, I think, is what I've found to be really helpful to connect with students and kind of help maybe that next step of, okay, I'm in school, I have some skills. How do I take that next step to then get my first internship or my first job, wherever that might be? So that's from my experience.
So it's kind of what you're saying is like it's a grassroots in a sense, where UCLA, you have your group. So if you are at another UC that maybe doesn't have that group, maybe seek that out or find it or start a club, right? If there's not a GIS geography club, or even within your data science club or something like that, that's a good way to bring in, your network, right? Your alumni network. And then this event, since we all coordinate all the UCs, it has been great. And we share a lot of knowledge too. So, but I think the hard part, us in this area, it is a volunteer effort. Like all of us are putting in our own time or extra time to make this happen, but we believe in it and we know it's important. So I have some questions here. I have a question, and anyone else have a question, please post them. The first one is from Andres Garcia regarding ESRI internships. Are these internships only at the headquarters or are they statewide?
Yeah, good question. Yeah, they're totally statewide. I'm ESRI Redlands is the headquarters, but we have a lot of regional offices. Some of the larger ones are in Denver, St. Louis, and Vienna, Virginia, which is right next to Washington, D.C. But we do have internships all across the U.S. And also, depending on the team you might want to intern with, it's still pretty team by team. You might be able to work remotely as well. But always being in the office, I think, especially for an internship, I'll say generally is ideal, but I think it depends on the team. But yeah, lots of opportunities all across the US.
And Maya, just to clarify, a question from Alexis, my apologies. What internship did you do, and then what team did you work with since you were on site?
Yeah, I definitely glossed over it. For the internship, I think when I applied in 2018 or 2017, when I applied, it was just a general apply to the internship. And then the kind of HR sorts you into the different buckets that they think might make the most sense and hands them out to the managers. But I think now they at least do let you go into different areas if you want to go into, marketing versus like technical consulting. Or maybe like software development. I think they allow you to specify a little more general of areas. And then from there, it's up to whatever is on your resume, the HR will see that and then try and give you the best fit of a team. So to answer what I did for my internship, I just applied to the general internship at the time, and I got assigned to a team in professional services, so still customer focused, but I was on a software development team. So I tested, so our software development team had, developers that were like programmers, creating the product, people that were testing the product, and then product managers. So I was in that testing role in the middle. So I had a little bit of programming experience, but really not much. So I was just testing the geoprocessing tools in Pro as the developers were making updates, and I was giving feedback. So I was for a specific product called ArcGIS Indoors. And then for full time, because I had some experience with ArcGIS Indoors, but not enough experience to be in that role full time for the team, what they were looking for at the time, I switched over to the delivery side for ArcGIS Indoors specifically. So I was instead of developing the product, I was implementing it with customers on customer projects. And then from there, I did that for 3.5 years, where I was just given customer data, make the maps, make the apps, ask if it's okay, fix it and, deliver it. But now I've switched to a more general technical consulting role in the last 6 months, where I just do any kind of web and mobile application. So Survey 123 dashboards, experience builder, field maps, that kind of stuff. So interned on a product team, but then ended up switching based on some of the skills I had and didn't have.
And I'm just to kind of keep going on my internships.
Mm-hmm.
How many interns end up staying with ESRI as career employees?
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know the specific stats. I only know anecdotally. I think a lot of the time, if you're an intern at ESRI, I think there's a pretty good chance you could get full-time, like more likely than not likely. But I think a lot of it depends on whether you have another year of school or not, or if you're looking to stay at ESRI. At least anecdotally, I heard over 50% of the time they want to keep you, but it doesn't always work out that much just because students don't always stay if they have to finish school or whatever it may be. But basically, I think if you have an internship and ESRI feels like you're a good fit for ESRI, you do they find a spot for you. I interviewed with 4 different teams after my internship before I got full-time. The first 3 passed on me, but they agreed I belong at ESRI, but they couldn't have me on their team because I didn't have enough experience yet. So, but the ESRI found a spot for me. So I think it's a pretty good chance that you could get a career kind of position. But it depends on you and I guess the team. If you want to stay, I mean, which we hope you do.
That's great. Thank you. And just another question related to internships, which is really good because sometimes students are graduating, and especially during COVID, there may be some, limbo land that we're in one career and maybe want to look into a GIS career. So the question from Johanna White is, do you have to be a student to do the internship, or can you be a young professional who wants to gain more experience with ESRI?
That's a good question. I don't think you have to be a student. I had already graduated before I was there. So I think a young professional is fine. Yeah, I'm trying to think of all the friends I had in the internship, and not all of them were students, but they all were recent grads or active students. But I don't think that's a requirement. No. I should look that up.
I think, let's say no, you don't have to be.
Yeah, I don't think you do. No, you don't have to be, but I think recent grad looking, even if it's like a career change, I think an internship in my mind is more of just an entry level position, and whether you're entry level because you're coming right out of school or you're switching careers. Yeah, I don't think I've never heard that it's a requirement. So yeah, I don't think it's a requirement.
Now, anyone in our audience have any burning questions for Maya and Rachel before I try to come up with another one that might be interesting? Maybe. So, Rachel, you discussed professional development and training, and you also mentioned the Vanguard and membership. Are there any mentors that are available to maybe look over resumes or portfolios or provide advice within either of your organizations? But I'm going to direct this to Rachel.
Yeah, definitely. There is a small network of people that are able to do that. Always it's sort of hit and miss because resumes are so dynamic based on your industry, your interest, where you are. But yeah, so in the Vanguard cabinet, there is, a team of people that are able to do that. And also at all of our events, even our Mappy hours, oddly enough, we have people show up with their resume and we're like, sure, let's take turns, critiquing it. Actually at the international conference, which happened at the end of October, I met a few people there that had their printed resume, and I took it home on the plane, and we have started that communication back and forth on, okay, how do you update this? And then I sent them mine, even not that I'm looking, but it's, hey, what's the new resume format nowadays? How does it look? How can I better communicate what I did in those positions to, somebody that might not know me as well as, people in the industry do nowadays. So we do have that available. Yeah.
So students, don't be shy. Show up to events, join clubs, talk to people, as making the connection. And if it doesn't lead you to where you want to go, it'll help you. Because I think, and I think those who've been in this world, we're really eager to support and mentor people who want to go into this field. So if you don't have that, maybe a direct link at your university, seek them out, because I think at every UC there's someone who wants to help, and then we know people in industry who can also help. And yeah, I think there's one great thing about the GIS industry as a whole. I think we're really supportive and collaborative and friendly. Another question for Rachel from Johanna. She's curious about what you do at LA County and how do you use GIS there?
Oh God. Okay. I didn't want to get into it. No. So I run a program called the Countywide Address Management System. Basically, I am the countywide aggregator of authoritative addresses for the 88 independent cities, plus the unincorporated addressing authority, which is the Department of Public Works. And I basically build and maintain the system that coalesces all that data together, equalizes it, the domains, the fields, all that type of stuff, and then serves it out not only as an open data set for the address points and road segments, but also as a locator service that all the departments in LA County can use and benefit from children and family services to the COVID tracking. All the different departments that need some sort of address lookup is able to rely on my data set being the most authoritative available for Los Angeles County. So that's sort of what I do. It does broach into the next generation 911 with emergency call routing and evacuation response and all that other frame of my other side of my life, because emergency services is my passion. So yeah, so that's sort of what I do. There's a whole lot of things to unwrap there.
Well, and LA County is really it's spread out and diverse. There's a lot of rural areas and wildfire areas, and it's not the city of LA. And then there's pockets of LA County within the city limits too, that make it probably challenging for you to maintain some of that stuff.
Yeah, and I have the benefit that I actually work in the enterprise GIS group, so we deal with a lot of the vastly different projects, from delete the digital divide to help supporting finding better locations for solar panels on people's houses, to just any type of project that might come up within the county itself. So we're able to help and support that, and I'm sort of just building that backbone with best practices, how to better manage an ArcGIS online organization with 800 plus users, how to implement standards and protocols behind that. So it's a lot of wide breadth of things that you would normally have to gain on the job experience with. We're sort of learning as we go. And I guess I didn't really give my background. So I'm a Humboldt State graduate back in the day, as well as I went to USC for my master's, and I've sort of job hopped after that from industry to industry, but government's my place to be.
Now, do any of you have LinkedIn profiles that you're willing to share? So maybe those in this session can connect with you.
Yeah, I could go ahead and post the link for that. I don't mind. I'm a prolific poster, but also I'd recommend following, all the organizations that I talked about today. They're also really beneficial to follow, and just, it doesn't hurt. A like never hurts. It's always free.
In addition to LinkedIn, personal face-to-face events, trying to think of how students can network and maybe build their resume, get support. Does anyone else have any questions for our panelists that maybe we haven't covered yet? That or you can hold them for later and put them on our Slack channel, or contact our panelists or any of us here, myself included, directly. Yes, so are there any other questions for our panel before we move on? Oh yes, and our Slack channel is also a great place to connect. Well, there's no questions popping in my mind either, but I really appreciate both of you. I'm gonna